So you gotta imagine now, I'm presenting it back to Nike. They're like, oh, we can't wait to see what your New York City Dunk looks like. And I was like, Pigeon. This is Jeff Staple, and you're watching Unboxed on BR Kicks. We have the Nike SB Pigeon Dunk OG colorway in my hand. Net worth, about 90,000 US dollars right here. It actually just sold at Sotheby's for $90,000. Yeah, so just to take you back in time a bit, this is 2003 when they called. And Nike said, we want you to dedicate a New York City dunk. We actually explored lots of different design routes for a New York City dunk. You know, we explored what an Empire State dunk would look like, what a Statue of Liberty dunk would look like, what a subway dunk would look like, right? We want to make something that is really kind of, if you know, you know. And if you're a New Yorker, you would look at it and immediately get it. But if you weren't from New York, it'd be like a head scratcher. Like most people were like, that's the worst idea I've ever heard, Jeff. You know, like you might as well take like a cockroach or a horse manure and make it like your mascot, right? But I was like, no, there's something really like New York spirited about a pigeon to me. It's like a hustler. And you know, God bless Nike. They were just like, yeah, we asked you to do this, so we got to trust your decision now. We believe you. Like, if you think this is what New Yorkers will resonate with, we'll do it. And so it got approved, and we went ahead and history was made. We're leading up to the release of this shoe now. Nothing really big is happening. The release date was February 22nd. And I remember we were waiting for the shoes to come in via FedEx. We were waiting for the delivery to come. And I distinctively remember that the moment FedEx dropped off the shoes and we opened the box, our phone rang. And we're like, hello, Reed Space. They're like, we heard you got the pigeons in. And we're like, what is this insider trading with FedEx happening here? You know, like it was totally like some inside job. And right away, kids started pitching tents and locking up lawn chairs along our street, right? And this is like 7 days in advance of drop. And it was freezing, it was brick, like 0 degrees, 10 negative wind chill factor in New York, and a blizzard was coming, okay? And the idea of a camp out wasn't really a big thing. There were like maybe 5 campouts that happened before this, but not on this scale. So I remember the day before the drop, I walk out, I see maybe like 20 kids in line, and I'm like, yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. And I thought, this will be a nice drop. This will be a great day tomorrow, right? Come back the next morning, and like, I mean, this photo really captures what I saw. First of all, my entire block where the store was at was shut down on both sides by NYPD. And I'm like walking past, and they're like, who owns this store? And I was like, me? They're like, what's going on here? I'm like, we're dropping a sneaker today. And so the NYPD was like, you gotta bring order to this, you know, figure it out. And so I hired one security guard, and me trying to scramble, I was like, let's give him some raffle tickets that are numbered, and then I'll just give it to him, and then he'll just start handing them out to people. Of course, what I didn't realize was that if you're a kid who's been sleeping out through a blizzard for 5 days, all of a sudden someone says like, you're number 34, that ain't gonna go well with people because they think they're number 1 or 2 or 3, right? So people completely eclipsed my security guard. Like all I saw was his arm and like just a mountain of kids. It looked like a scene out of The Walking Dead. You know, like where like someone's just like, help me. And you just see like raffle tickets in his hand. And I was like, okay, that's not working. So the police, they were like, you have no control here. They were pulling kids off the line. They wouldn't let go of the fence. It was like a soccer match. I was really, really scared. The local neighborhood kids came armed. They had bats, butterfly knives. We saw a machete, like a full-on Crocodile Dundee style machete. And what these kids were doing is they knew that they wouldn't get past the police to get to the line. So they said, we'll just wait for the kids who get shoes and then hit them after they leave the store space, right? And so you saw them on all 4 corners. These guys with big snorkel jackets, and then underneath you just see like a baseball bat and like a sword or some crazy shit, you know? And the NYPD were really helpful. They called the TLC, which is the Taxi and Limousine Commission, and they had a whole lineup of yellow cabs come to the back of the store. And so when kids bought the shoes, they said, leave out the back of the store and we'll get you a taxi. You go straight in the taxi and get out of this neighborhood. And I remember some kids were like, I just spent all my money on these shoes. I have no more money. I saw the NYPD give $5 to a kid and say, take this $5 and just go as far as you can, like away from this neighborhood. That's how freaking scary this whole situation was, you know? And even one cop was like, this kid, he's in the back of my van right now. He's in tears. He said he's been sleeping outside for 7 days. He's pissed himself. Can we get him a size 6 in his shoe? Like, he was like, this cop is like trying to like get a plug in for this kid who's about to go to jail, you know? So it was pretty historic. And CBS News came, Fox News came to cover it. And then the New York Post covered it. They came and did an interview, but what I didn't know was that, you know, next day it was gonna be on the front page of the newspaper, which is the first time a sneaker has ever been on the front page of a New York City paper. And this is really what people credit as the reason why sneaker culture got put on the map. This went from subculture to pop culture on February 23rd, on this day, you know? Obviously, we have our friends here, the Pigeons, that were the muse and the inspiration behind the shoe. We deliberately also use different types of leathers, both a traditional leather and then a nubuck. And that kind of gives the highs and lows that happen in the feather of a bird as well. And then the other key part that has become a trademark of all of my creations is the pink bottom. And if you look at Pigeon's feet, they also have pink bottoms on their feet as well. We then also pop the pink on the inside of the shoe here, so the entire inside lining is pink, down to the sock liner. Nike hit on the back. You've got the Pigeon that hits right on the heel. 150 of these were made in the whole entire world. 30 were dropped at Reed Space. And on the Reed Space edition, you will see STPL, which stands for staple, is laser engraved on the interior heel to denote that you got your pair from Reed Space. So if you have the lasered STPL edition, it is a 1 of 30, which is even more rare than the 1 of 150. So I've seen so many ebbs and flows of hypebeast culture, sneaker culture, and even in particular the dunk. The dunk, since I dropped this, has gone away, come back, gone away, come back, and currently it's like at an apex. Like, the dunk is crazy right now. But with that being said, I'm always amazed every 3 years that people say sneaker culture is gonna die, people are gonna get over sneakers, they're gonna go back to like dress shoes or the Chuck Taylor only, and this whole thing of people buying multiple pairs of shoes and having a collection and reselling, it's gonna die, it's a fad. This is not gonna die. This is a staple, no pun intended, of our society, of what we believe in. You know, there's not too many things that, like, you know, encompass product design, graphic design, color theory, sports engineering, innovation, technology, fashion, trend, style, music, all into an item that costs around $100 and that you have to make a decision on every single day of your life. Every single human on this earth, when they walk out their door, I don't care what country they live in, what economic background they come from, what color, race, creed, whatever, when you walk out the door, you have to decide what you're going to put on your feet. And even if that is a pair of Pro Keds or Chuck Taylors or Yeezys, that decision that you make is an impression on who you are and how you want to portray yourself to the world, right? Name another item that you have to decide that on every single day. Costs around $100 and has all of that culture baked into this thing. There's no other thing besides a shoe, and that's why I love sneaker culture.